But yeah, there will be set bonuses. Remember, if you look at where Cryptozoic used to be located, their actually physical location of their offices are across the street from Blizzard, the same people that made World of Warcraft, of course. And in fact, they have some people on their staff which were prior Blizzard employees, so they have a high-level pedigree of people that have experience with PvE content and MMOs. And so it's not out of the realm of possibilities that they're going to make a really, really good MMO card game here, which is what they're shooting for. We're going to keep this hand even though we can't play 2 of these cards with the current what we have, but we have some decent plays in the opening part of the game. Again, this is a dead card to us versus this deck. In fact, I might just, it might be worthwhile to just simply, if I don't have anything to do, just burn to the face with it, with the burn card, because he has no creatures for me to use it against. Typically that would be a really bad play, but because I know what he's playing in games 2 and 3, now that we've played so many times. Not the face. That would be what I would do with it, because I already know that, like, he has no creatures for me to use this against, so we're actually, so typically, like I said before, this is something you would not do because you want to save your burn for real creatures, but because I know that he basically has no creatures in the deck, I'm just going to go ahead and use that damage because I had no other plays this turn anyways. Of course, he has a lot of healing, so this is going to be pretty insubstantial anyways, realistically. Oh, Chaos Key, that's a good play. Chaos Key is really good. Again, it's a basic action. We gotta really watch this when we see our activations on these. I've been making a lot of mistakes as far as seeing things and being like, oh, I'll just do that at his end step. I love doing things on people's end steps, but this is a basic action, which means I can only do it during my first or second main phase. This card is really boss, I think, for the cost and what it does, especially when you're running the Mono Ruby deck. Mono Ruby versus his deck would actually probably be a little bit better because it might be too quick for him. So I might actually try that next. But with the Mono Ruby deck, this is actually going to buff your charge power. So the Mono Ruby, what it does is the charge power is on 3. You put a 3/1 haste cat in play, and it can at the end of the turn you have to it sacrifices itself. Oh, he's going to Rage Fire my Pyromancer. That seems pretty good. So this guy will actually buff that 3/1 and make it a 4/1, which is really nice. So I can't even play any of the other cards anyway, so the only choice here is Alexander. Right, and actually, you know what, I think that's why I was looking at green, was to get into like sword trainer and sniper. The thing is that those cards are just so, I mean, they're like, if you're going to play them at all, they're maybe a 2 of or a 1 of in a deck, because they're weak bodies, and the effects that they have are okay, but I mean they're good because they're removal, but at the same time you have to have other things in play, and overall they're substandard cards. For 5, I mean, I can play Gwaine, or I can play some really nice bombs, you know, for whatever it is. Sniper is like 5, and then a sword trainer is 4. So and again, that just kind of comes down to memorizing cards. So I'm in a bad position now because I have no plays here, because all my plays are in the opposing color, and my opponent probably would know that, or he would think one of 2 things at this point. 1, I don't have the proper color, or 2, I have cards that are too expensive for what I have. Pact of Pain seems pretty good for him right here. Interesting thing also right now is before Alpha, we only knew about 4 sweeps, and then they came out with, I keep forgetting the name of it. I say it over and over again. No, that's not good. It's quick turns, that's for sure. What is it called? The burn. The 2-point burn. Anyways, so that gave us 8 sweeps, and that's fine in a format to have that many sweeps. But we also don't have things that like have recursion. Heatwave, yeah, thank you very much, Golokey. Pyroclasm. I know I call it pyroclasm, but I'm trying to stray away from using the exact Magic card terms. So yeah, this is not looking like against any deck this would be a losing proposition for me. And again, this kind of comes down to the consistency right now of playing 2 colors without having any type of dual resources whatsoever. Just so everyone's aware of the dual resource of choice that people have. Oh, there we go. Land ho! I'm going to miss being able to say that, because these are shards, not really lands. So what do I want to do here? I have a lot of resources to play things. I want to play things in the proper order. I think I go ahead and go Totem and Clergyman and then pass. Or actually, I'll probably just go Totem, and then I can buff it at the end of his turn. Or do I want a Clergyman here? He has 4 cards in hand. I have to expect that he has a sweep. I prefer to respond to that sweep with Totem if possible, so we're going to leave that in there as a threat. That's fine. We'll leave it like that. So, like I was saying, the only dual resource is a resource called Shards of Fate. He could just void him at this point. That is correct. I'll buff the Totem in his end step. I prefer it looked like I could respond with something. Right, and I can buff in response to something as well. To his, I can buff in response to his Pyroclasm, or his Heat Wave, rather. But the only resource right now is a resource that's akin to, what is it called? Evolving Wilds. You know, Evolving Wilds, sacrifice, put it in your deck, or sacrifice it, and then look through your deck for a land card, put it in play tapped. There's a card called Shards of Fate, which says, put a... Oh, I should have responded. Oh wait, he keyed me. That wouldn't have mattered, so that's fine. If I could have made him untargetable, that would have been a response there. But otherwise, I had no real response. But yeah, Shards of Fate says you use, like when it comes into play, it checks your deck to see what resources are available in it, and then you can choose a resource and put that into play, and then it gives you 01, which gives you like this refresh. This is the out of, basically, and so it's not going to give you resource for the turn, but it'll give you more resource pool. Yeah, it's very going to be very interesting to see what the future of dual lands for this game is going to look like, because dual resources need to exist for a game like this. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and play Clergyman, and I can actually play Citizenry right after it to put both of them out of Heat Wave range. I can't avoid I cannot avoid whatever it is, Extinction, but I can avoid Heat Wave. Another thing that's interesting to me is if you look at the typically wild or green is the color that has access to all the rest of the colors. Like, that's the thing. It's growth. It has like things like in Magic it has Bird of Paradise. It has Rampant Growth, which lets you like search for other cards. It has what is it called? what's the one that everybody uses, or everyone was using? It searches for those dual lands. I forget what it's called. Anyways, green typically has that, and right now it doesn't in this game, which is just another difference to me from this game to like Magic. That this game doesn't have their wild resource be like access to other colors. Right now, the rampant growth that's available is called, what is it called? I forget what it's called. But basically, it's 2 threshold and 1. It needs 2 threshold. It costs 3, and then it adds 2 threshold and it adds 2. So it's a lot like Ranger's Path. I'm sure someone's gonna look it up and tell me in a minute what it's called. So I don't actually want to play either one of these cards right now because I have him 7 is really good damage to be putting out right now, and so I'm just gonna wait until he casts Extinction and just start stocking cards in my hand. I could play these cards if I wanted to be overly aggressive, but there's no reason to be, because it's a 2-for-1 right now that I have on the field. I'm trying to remember what that's called. Chlorophylla? Chlorophylla. Yeah, Chlorophylla is the one that's the rampant growth for this game right now, and it's more akin to Ranger's Path, costing 1 less. And of course the resources come in exhausted, so you don't actually get the resources, but you add resources to your pool, and then you add more. Oh, apparently he gave up. Such an exciting deck. Is there a reason why you surrendered? Goluki? No, he killed me. Oh, he life siphoned me. Oh. I didn't even see it happen. That's how quick.